Story 1. Open Broadcaster software is free and open source recording software for your computer. Story 2. I am surprised search everything is not here. Instant file search changed the way I use computers. Story 3. Two come to mind: pfSense and FreeNAS. Both are heavily used at my house. pfSense is a free, open-source firewall and router with features comparable to almost all commercial firewalls used by small and medium-sized businesses. It is also extremely reliable. FreeNAS is a network-attached storage operating system. It quickly transforms any spare old computer with a few drives and a network interface into a centralized file server with support for almost everything, from Apple Time Machine backups to enterprise internet small computer systems interface setups that allow diskless booting of machines on the local network. Story 4. As a digital painter, Krita is probably the best art software you can get for free, especially if you add the brush packs. Some of the pieces I have created are impressive, and the amount you can customize the main window is extensive. Edit. I did not expect this comment to receive a gold award. Thank you all. Story 5. Zotero is a reference manager for academic writers. It is 100 times better and 1,000 times freer than EndNote. Story 6. Stud.io is a wonderful modeling program for Lego. Lego comes from the Danish phrase "legot," meaning play well. It is great for recapturing that feeling of building with bricks, and you do not have to worry about running out of a certain color or stepping on a one-by-one piece. It also has an option to work on a project with friends, but I have not tried it. Story 7. Blender is a workhorse for those willing to invest the time to learn it. It handles modeling, animation, and video compositing. It receives regular updates, and the technology behind it continues to improve. It could be better in places, but for software that is free, it is remarkable. Story 8. WinDIRstat is useful for creating tree map visualizations of the contents of your hard drive, and for finding adult content folders you had forgotten that are using a large amount of space. Story 9. Draw.io is a web-based diagramming application. Story 10. Desmos.com. It is an online graphing calculator and is much better than the Texas Instruments TI-84 that I spent $120 on. It graphs many types of equations. For example, you do not have to isolate y, you can graph inverse functions directly, and there are also constant placeholders. Correction. It is Desmos.com, not Desmos.org. Story 11. DR programming language is statistical software with many free add-ons you can download. It takes time to learn, but once you do, it can do almost anything. Story 12. OpenSCAD. Create three-dimensional models with a scripting language. If you have a three-dimensional printer and want to print exotic shapes or create parts that may need parameter tweaks from run to run, it is fantastic. Story 13. I just started learning LaTeX a few weeks ago and have already switched to it for all my assignments. The documents are far more beautiful and better formatted than Google Docs or Microsoft Word, and it handles equations and mathematics much better than either, which is important because I am an engineering student and do a lot of math. I highly encourage anyone studying mathematics, science, or engineering to learn and start using LaTeX. Story 14. DraftSite is a full computer-aided design software available for free. Its functionality and commands work almost exactly like AutoCAD. Story 15. Audacity, audio editing software. Your FanView, great for basic image editing. This is my default image viewer. Other well-known programs include Videoland Client Media Player, Winamp, IMG Burn, WinRAR, 7-Zip, Central Processing Unit Identification Tools, and BleachBit. Story 16. Space Engine is free for now. I would say a program that simulates the known universe and beyond on your computer is a good deal. Story 17. KeePass. I have been using KeePass as my password manager since 2008. It is updated regularly and has two versions, one that requires the Microsoft .NET framework and one that does not. It is entirely portable on Windows and works on several other operating systems. It has plugins if you need functionality not included in the base version. KeePass changed how I store passwords, addresses, and uniform resource locators for everything. There is a learning curve, but I love never having to remember a password. Story 18. Rikova. It restores deleted files as long as the memory has not been written over. A few days ago, I was reviewing clips I had recorded on my camera and accidentally erased the clip I needed. I scanned the secure digital memory card using Recover and recovered the file. Thank you, Recover, for rescuing my video. It also works on hard disk drives. Story 19. Not technically software, archive.org offers millions of free downloads of music, movies, books, software, and more. It is home to a very large catalog of Grateful Dead recordings. The site includes the Internet Arcade, where you can play many classic games, and the Console Living Room, which offers similar content. It also provides access to many old personal computer games and even lets you play the original 1990 version of the Oregon Trail. Archive.org also runs the Wayback Machine, which has archived more than 310 billion web pages, allowing you to see how websites looked in the past. For example, you can view Reddit on July 25, 2005, a month after it was created. Having access to all these resources for free is remarkable. Story 20. General Applications. YouTube DL, powerful command line tool for downloading YouTube content. Lets you download playlists and annotations. Read the documentation. uBlock Origin, Ad Blocker, Safari version available. Calibre ebook manager, great for converting. F.Lux, makes the screen warmer to reduce eye strain. VLC Media Player, Videoland Client, the ultimate video player. Visual Studio Coding Environment, Atom Code Editor, Unity Video Game Engine, Zotero Reference Manager, TeamViewer, easy screen sharing setup, useful for remote help, Blender 3D modeling, OBS, Open Broadcaster software, live streaming and screen recording, Malwarebytes, effective anti-malware, retro gaming, RetroPie, retro gaming platform for single-board computers, Macintosh only, Clippy, clipboard and snippet manager, an alternative to paid apps like Text Expander, keeping you awake, newer, up-to-date clone of caffeine, prevents your Macintosh from sleeping with a menu bar icon, MIDI monitor, musical instrument digital interface monitor for input and output, Sysex librarian, system-exclusive librarian for backing up synth programs or sending system-exclusive messages. QuickTime Player, screen recording available from the File menu. Keycaster, keystroke visualizer. App Cleaner, drag an unwanted application in and it removes associated hidden files. Prefer the app's uninstaller when available. Other useful Macintosh apps can be found in the Awesome Mac repository on GitHub. Recommended paid apps. Istat menus for an enhanced menu bar, and Duplicate Detective for finding duplicate files. Story 21. Check out Audio Router. It is a great little piece of freeware that lets me route sounds through different sets of speakers, so I can watch a stream on my television and play a game on my main monitor. I am glad I helped so many people. You must reload the page after you. Route the sound. Except for YouTube, it routes without interruption. I found it while looking for programs for 2 desktops on 1 computer. I started with Che Volume as a Reddit user suggested, but I had issues with it. The project is available on GitHub, credited to user Dome731. Story 22. PaintNet is like Adobe Photoshop bent Microsoft Paint over a table and made a love child. I used to be heavy into graphic design with Photoshop, but it became too expensive to keep up with. I tried the GNU image manipulation program for years, but it always felt too clumsy. PaintNet hits the sweet spot. Story 23. Linux operating system, Apache HTTP server, PostgreSQL, and GNU compiler collection. This thread shows it is a consumer-driven world. Story 24. Plex for movies. Unbelievable that it is free. Automatically downloads all metadata for movies, such as thumbnails, and even includes Rotten Tomatoes scores. Includes a voice application programming interface so you can search by voice. Remembers and marks episodes and movies as watched. Highlights newly added movies in your library. Story 25. Wikipedia is free in every sense of the word. If you want to argue that it is a website rather than software, it is software as well. You can download the MediaWiki software, install it easily, download all of Wikipedia, and run it on your own instance of the MediaWiki platform. Then you will have your own copy of Wikipedia with blackjack and hookers if you want. Story 26. Inkscape is powerful, and its interface is wonderfully intuitive. Who needs Adobe Illustrator? Story 27. Fusion 360 is a full parametric three-dimensional computer-aided design application with toolpath controls for computer numerical control machining, a slicer for three-dimensional printing and prototyping, and load and stress calculations. Story 28. Disk Space Fan lets you visually see how much space is being used on a volume. Beyond Compare compares two files or directories, including entire directory trees. It is trial software but has been exactly what I have needed many times. The virtual network, computing server, and viewer are quite old, and there are probably better replacements. They can be a security hazard if not used properly, but they transformed how remote support is done and are available for Windows and Linux. Ubuntu is a complete operating system based on Linux. It is easy to install and extremely useful. Story 29. Prot is a useful program for people who want to analyze speech and other sounds. I use it regularly for phonetics, and it is easy to use. I did not expect it to be helpful to many people, but I am glad to hear it is useful. Thank you for the kind messages. Story 30. Linux Multimedia Studio is a surprisingly versatile music studio. It is not entirely comparable to FL Studio, but it comes pretty close. Story 31. The Windows snipping tool changed my life. It was there the whole time. Edit. Thanks for the award, kind stranger. Story 32. Arduino is a platform that can help you do it yourself for anything. The software is free and open source. Story 33. I know you mean free as in price, but here are some free and open source software I love that are also free of cost. Darktable Photo Workflow in the style of Adobe Lightroom. Very powerful with a solid number of plugins. GIMP, free and open source image editor. A bit clunky at first but very powerful. Krita, free and open source art program in the style of Paint Tool SAI or CorelDRAW. I have used it for cleaning comic scans. LibreOffice Office Suite without license fees. LibreOffice 6 includes significant bug fixes and performance improvements. MPD, Music Player Daemon, and Moppity, free and open source music players. They are a bit complicated at first but very capable when configured. I set one up to stream to an Icecast server for internet radio. 7-Zip, a great free and open source archive program. You have no excuse not to use it. Story 34. Unity has extensive documentation and helped spark indie game development. It allows beginners to create projects with no price tag. Story 35. I use everything associated with LaTeX. I will never typeset mathematics in Microsoft Word again. Story 36. Mika Mika Dance is an amazing three-dimensional animation program that lets you learn the basics of moving character models realistically. You do not have to model or rig anything. After downloading, click Load Model and choose one, then start animating. The examples below have an anime-influenced style for the characters, but that is not the only style or models available. Can produce impressive results, so not everything looks poor despite being free. I introduced it to my computer technology teacher in high school, and it is now part of the class every semester. Many videos are music-related, but there are also story-driven pieces and fight choreography. Examples: a shocking lip-syncing music video, a love story music video, a wordless comedy skit. More advanced examples: martial arts versus brute strength, two equally skilled fighters, animation of guitar playing with magical elements. Watch this one if you watch any. You will not regret it. A two cellos remake of The Trooper by Iron Maiden played with classical instruments. If you watch any, I recommend the magical guitar video. All movements, including drumming, fingerpicking, hammer-ons, and the shifting of the guitar's weight, are accurate to the song. Everything in that video felt perfect and memorable. Headphones are required. Summary: a three-dimensional animation program that is easy to use and can produce beautiful results when used to its full potential. Visit the LearnMMD website for downloads and share it with anyone who wants to tell stories. Story 37. Duolingo is a free language learning app that is clean, user-friendly, and engaging. It makes learning a language fun and interactive. Compared with expensive software and other apps like Rosetta Stone, it is often comparable to or better in some respects. Story 38. GNU Image Manipulation Program is an open-source image editor that is incredibly powerful and similar to Adobe Photoshop. Story 39. Discord is hands down the best way to communicate with teammates while gaming. Story 40. I would have to say Blender. You can do so much and it's completely free. Story 41. EarFanView is a program I was introduced to when I started as a photo lab technician. It is great for batch resizing, basic edits such as color and contrast, batch cropping and rotating, and it reads most image file types I encountered, excluding RAW files. 10 out of 10. I recommend it and install it on every computer I own. It made my job much faster and made me seem like a ninja to customers. Story 42. PuTTY is an all-in-one terminal emulator for network protocols. There is nothing else quite like it. Story 43. Shazam is incredible. It is the most impossibly futuristic thing we do with our phones. Story 44. Space Engine. Every time I show it to someone, they freak out about how cool it is. I've been planning to buy a projector for a while, only to project Space Engine on my ceiling so I can lie with my girlfriend and look at the stars. Story 45. Reaper is my go-to audio workstation. It costs about $60 per version, but the fully functional demo lasts indefinitely. Load it with Virtual Studio Technology instruments and audio plugins, and you can start making music. Open Broadcaster software is excellent for screen capture. The Lightworks demo is fully serviceable for YouTube videos, but after a few issues I switched to Shotcut for video editing. Finally, Fusion 360 is free for hobbyists for three-dimensional computer-aided design and computer-aided manufacturing. Story 46. Oracle VirtualBox. If you enjoy unprotected sex with strangers or partners simultaneously without worry, you will love this. Story 47. ImageMagick is a scriptable command-line image editing suite. Need to trim transparent pixels from the edge of thousands of images and then resize to thumbnails? Can do that in seconds. Even after creating a Photoshop macro, this process can take half an hour, and I have seen colleagues do it manually for an entire day. Sound Exchange is essentially ImageMagick for audio files. Being able to normalize audio levels, trim dead lead-ins and lead-outs, and save in a compressed web-friendly format with a single script has saved me dozens of hours. It is a shame that many people are unaware of these tools or are intimidated by the command line. There are many powerful force-multiplying software suites like these. Story 48. 4K Video Downloader is a completely free YouTube and other site audio and video downloader. It does not include deceptive download buttons, supports parallel downloads, and can save audio in MPEG Audio Layer 3 and MPEG 4 audio formats. Story 49. I do not know if this counts, but Autodesk products such as Inventor are available to students at no cost, rather than paying $5,569. Story 50. How has nobody mentioned TeamViewer yet? It is a fantastic remote desktop utility used by most information technology professionals I know. There is an enterprise version that requires payment for business use, but for anyone using it outside a business context, it is completely free. The mobile app is intuitive, and I can access my home desktop from anywhere. That is great when I need to troubleshoot or manage my media library through Plex but do not feel like getting off the couch. Story 51. Robinhood offers commission-free stock trades and an outstanding interface and service. Story 52. The alarm clock on cell phones makes it easy to wake up when you fall asleep anywhere. You can even set 3 alarms 5 minutes apart to make sure you are up. Story 53. I can't open external links. Please paste the text you want me to edit. Quick clarifications before I proceed. Do you want every acronym expanded to its full phrase, e.g., NASA National Aeronautics and Space Administration, replacing the acronym entirely? Keep original paragraph breaks? Any language preference? Note: I can process up to 10, 000 characters at once. For longer text, I can work in parts. Paste the text and I'll return the clean version optimized for Azure Text-to-Speech. Story 54. There is an application named Firefox. It uses the sensors on your smartphone to collect raw data for experiments or other activities. It is mainly intended for scientists who are away from their laboratory but need to test something, although students and non-experts can also use it for fun. Major thumbs up to the developers at Rheinisch-Westfälische Technische Hochschule Aachen in Germany. Story 55. Gmail, Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets. I know I was enthusiastic about Google, but I remember when I first discovered these tools. It was probably ninth grade when I realized I did not have to bring a flash drive to school to save documents created in Microsoft Word. I disliked Microsoft Word compared to Google Docs. Google Docs felt far more innovative. It saved automatically to your account and allowed instant sharing with others. Previously, I had to save files on flash drives, pay for Microsoft Word, and print papers. Now I can save documents automatically in Google Docs and submit assignments online. Story 56. Unity has paid versions, but you get 99% of its functionality at no cost. For a hobbyist, it is more powerful than you could ever need. I am only a beginner, but it blows my socks off that something like this is available at no cost. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.